The prime purpose of man's sojourn on this earth is to seek God.
The meaning of Maha-Shivratri, as for how I understand it, the Shiva's creation, there are two versions. One is that Shiva was married to Parvati and creation that came into being. Second is the creation. When did it come into being? So that definitely a normal person would say the creation came into being when the Big Bang happened, the swoop, boom. That was a sonic bang. So, and darkness lay over the deep. There was no creation. There was no night. There was no day. Causation, there was none. I have described this Shiva Parvati marriage. Boundless lay the self, existent in the Paramarth of the self, stretched beyond infinity, from eternity to eternity, the self in his majesty did reign. Time was not, space was not, causation there was none, but all, O divine, were held in thy bosom of duration. So Maha-Shivratri hasn't started as yet. And there was no Parvati and no Shiva. But there was Param Shiva. As this great silence, this great isness of the zero not zero. So what was there before creation? There was the non-being essentiality. Composed of nothing, yet of which all else is sure composed. It stands supreme beyond all dreams, eternally reposed. So, कालो का काल महाकाल है अव्यक्त, पड़ा अपने स्वयंभू स्वरूप में विरक्त. न रात है, न दिन है, न धूप है, न साया, अगम अगोचर है सब, न ब्रह्म है न माया. Pre Maha-Shivratri, for Maha-Shivratri, about the Parabrahma, right? Night was not, day was not, causation there was none, but all, O divine, lay in thy bosom of duration. सनातन ज्वाला लय में है और जगत चक्र निश्चल, जागेगी सृष्टि जब पिएंगे शंभु हलाहल. So now, all was silence, all was deep. Time was not, space was not, causation there were none. But then there's the stirrings, the self stirred in that absolute deep. As darkness lay over the face of the deep. We use the word darkness because there is no word to say that it is awesome, it is dark, it is unknown, yet it is not dark, and it is not light also. And it is not transparent also. But that experience is there for which a human being has not formulated any word. Firstly, there are no words, and secondly, very, very, very few people go into that state except the God of our creation. So from that state, the stirrings took place. And the first spun came so fast that it was not spinning, it was the no spin zone. The first stirrings of creation. And then the movement was no spin. It was spinning so fast that it didn't move. We can't conceive of that, right? It's a zillion times faster than light. Then it slowed down, and then it started spinning at a million times the speed of light, but the spin was reverse. Now in that case, I don't know what is reverse. It was reverse. So it was spinning, and then it started swimming in a very fast, and it kept clockwise until the spin became slower and slow, because you have to become very slow to create creation. So this was faster than light. So that movement of awareness had to slow itself down till it became very slow to the speed of light. So at that time when it slowed down and it became so slow that it became the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second, 186,000 miles per second. In the innermost recesses of the awareness, there was an optic boom. The Big Bang is not an optic. An optic boom is when the truth becomes so slow that light is born. Then it goes much slower, and then sound is born. There's a sonic boom. Boom, the Big Bang. Okay? Now the question is, Shiva married Parvati at the optic boom or at the sonic boom? Because you're degrading Parvati if you say she's sound. She's not sound, she's, in Latin, you have a term called fiat lux. Fiat lux comes from the word Lakshmi. Maha-Lakshmi is Devi, and Lakshmi, that is Shiva Shakti, and Lakshmi is Vishnu Shakti, and Saraswati is Brahma, the creator. So now we have to see that when this spin, the time reversed phenomena became inversed. What is the opposite of reverse? Converse. So when the spin came slow, and it was just junction, and light was being born, the birth of light and consciousness, that contact point is Maha-Shivratri, and then there was light. That when consciousness transformed itself to enlightened light, then to lightless light, and then to light, Shakti was born. She was always potential in Shiva, expressed herself, and that was the marriage of Shiva and Shakti, where causal creation came to birth. Time was not, space was not, causation there was none, but all were held in the bosom of duration. So perhaps time was born before space and light. And then as it carried on from that optic boom, which is the Shiv Parvati Vivaha, and just imagine this, where it is going. This is the Indian mind speaking to you, and you say that we are buffoons and we're doing bhakti like this, and we don't know. No, the philosophy of us is this, and the sunshine blaze of which other philosophies appear as mere candle lights. Now please go to all the religious books and find out what are the different explanations given and from where they start. Then the light coming to the building blocks of nature, even light had to become slower because Parvati had to give birth to her children. Otherwise, how would creation come into being? So Shiva told her, slow down. So she said, I don't want to be away from him. She said, but if you say so, I'll slow down. So she slowed down, and light became the electron. And that's when the real first building blocks of nature started. There were subtle things than the electron also, but they could not be counted because they were immaterial. Lightless light and enlightened light. So when Shiva told Parvati to slow down, she The electron is only 1 mile slower than the speed of light. 1 mile. So she slowed down very little. But that did it. Because then from the electron was born, the slowing down was born Prakriti, nature. And then nature went forth in her celestial dance, creating the countless galaxies and stars, which I'm not going into the detail of because then came the proton, then came the neutron. And then the whiff and weft was all this, the pran, which they call dark matter, then came pran. And lo, she went forth in her celestial dance. And she danced and danced and danced. And her skirt, which we call the ghagra, and as she think it flared. And as she danced the dance of creation, which Shiva is Natraj, dancing always in the higher sphere. Shiva's dance was always there in harmony and consonance with Parvati's dance. And as it went into perceptible creation, creation which can be seen, then she was seen as the large incandescent vapors of light, the quasars, the gigantic stars which studded the brows of her forehead. This formed creation. So here's the creation. The poem starts with this verse. This is the second verse. Maha-Akash and Maha-Bindu. This is called the still point of eternity. Can you see the dot? That's why ladies wear the bindu here, to show that they are of divine origin. Scientifically, it is the still point of eternity. If you study there, you can go into eternity. Still point of concentration, that is the meaning of the bindu. Then there forms a circle. Circle, the third verse, meaning the whole circular ambit of the spin of the bindu, that's when she dances, stretched from one end of the circumference to the other. The flare of her ghagra is 14.7 billion light years. That is the extent of creation. Boundless lay the self, existent in the Paramarth of the self, spread beyond infinity from eternity to eternity, was perfect, absolute, and calm, undisturbed,
For Shiva,
in the stillness of his majesty did reign.